As the realness would say, the red light is on, so we are live. But before we get started, I want to tell you some things. BCW, ROH, NXT, WWE. What do all these have in common? Well, let's get to it. Welcome to the Wrestling Realm Presents Season 2 of Championship Culture. I'm Brandon the Guy, and remember, every belt has a story. Now, you got to excuse me if I feel a little groggy. Being out in, some weather all weekend wasn't good. It wasn't very friendly to me. But you know what? I'm going to remind you of a couple things before we get started because we got a lot to get into, like this show title says. But check this out. I'm going to tell you something, right? It's a secret. All right. Are you ready? More than every belt has a story. Did you know that you can watch all of the Wrestling Realm content at any time? When I say anytime, when you can't sleep at night, instead of going on TikTok, go over to youtube.com/the Wrestling Realm. That's where you will see all 25 episodes of season 1 and a bonus episode from season 1 as well. You can catch up on all of season 2 just by going to youtube.com/the Wrestling Realm. Playlist is Championship Culture. If that doesn't give you your wrestling fix, you can always follow us on all social media platforms, which include Instagram, Threads, X, and Facebook by using the handle at Wrestling Realm. And if you have Instagram and you want to follow Championship Culture, let's go to Championship Culture _ on Instagram. Now, don't you forget, you got to like and subscribe and engage in the conversation because trust me, when I say we engage, we do respond, and we love to hear what you're thinking. You can download all of our audio content at any time just by going to Anchor, Stitcher, Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. You can watch and subscribe to our Twitch channel, which is at the Wrestling Realm. Now, we're coming off of, you're going to hear this a lot, the biggest WrestleMania of all time. We're coming off the heels of WrestleMania XL, not Wrestle, WrestleMania XL. But guess what? There's a couple concerts that's going to be coming. It's about to get nice. Baseball season will be starting soon. So guess what? The Wrestling Realm is here to save you a few dollars. When I say, how do you do that? If you want to save some money on any tickets for concert, live shows, sporting events, and more, head over to SeatGeek.com where you can use the promo code Wrestling Realm, and it'll save you $20 on anything of $50 or more. And when I tell you, I have firsthand experience that this promo code works. Once you put it in there, no matter what you're buying, if you just search it, until you use it, it's going to apply for you. Once again, $20 off for your purchase of $50 or more. Now, if you've seen any tickets, if you can find some tickets under $50, good job. But let Wrestling Realm save you $20, right? With all that being said, most wrestling fans are still on the high from what they've seen for, might as well say from last Thursday to Monday. But we still got to get to Friday. And as the show graphic dictates, we got new champions, and it's almost a new era, right? But I'm here to tell you something a little different today. Over the weekend, we absorbed a lot of wrestling. When I say we, them Championship Culture boys, myself and Brother Hugh as the third. We literally went to so many shows and did so much wrestling. I thought I would be wrestling fatigue. I'm actually more excited. But I know you don't want to hear me talk a lot. And as you can tell for season 2, we try to keep it interested and we try to keep you guessing. I want to shout out to some of the people in the comments. Look, Dylan's here. Uh-oh. Somebody, please. I need somebody. Maybe Dennis will keep Dylan straight so we don't get any memes about us. And there's Brother Dennis, the NWA territory expert himself. But in order to have this conversation today about this weekend of wrestling, this new era, these new championships, who better than one of the hosts from Four Sides of the Ring? Now, let me give you a little backstory. The championship culture boys got real close with these guys real fast. Not only did we participate in their first ever 3 count championship, their 3 count trivia championship. Let me just clear my throat. Those championship culture boys actually won. So over the weekend, we got to meet them all in person. But the man that I said, if you want to know the backstory behind this, go over to youtube.com and search Four Sides of the Ring. I told him when I saw him, I was going to give him a hug. Because if you heard any of those questions during the trivia, you will understand the questions that this man came up with, the manner in which he delivered it. You can tell he's never had a hug and he needed some love. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about nobody else but the guy himself, one of the hosts of Four Sides of the Ring, Mr. Nitram. Let me bring him on stage so we can get this conversation about this weekend full of wrestling.
What's going on? What's going on?
How's it going, sir?
It's going good, man. It's going good. I got hugged a couple times this weekend.
Because we wanted to make sure that you had the love that you were missing. Because if you go over to youtube.com and look for Four Sides of the Ring, first off, subscribe to them. Because you guys are awesome. All of them. Marcus, Brandy Savage, Nitram, and who am I forgetting?
Zombie
Channel.
King.
Oh, how did I forget Zombie King? Well, you know what? We ain't going to talk about my competition. I think is this Marcus in the chat?
Is he there?
I think this is Marcus. He's laughing. He probably laughed at the intro I gave you. I think that's Marcus.
He's probably making sure that I don't mess this up.
So while we're on that, tell the people who you are and tell them where they can find you.
I'm Nitram. So originally I wasn't a Four Side of the Ring podcast host because I chose not to be in the podcast for relationship reasons that did not work out. And then as soon as it did not work out, I hit up my brother, who was Marcus, and I was like, so you got a spot for me? Or and of course he did. I love trivia. It's one thing my brother knows about me. I wanted to do a trivia channel. My brother was just like, look, come on our show and I'll let you host trivia. And he showed out for me because he brought everyone in. And I made all these friends along the way. I met you guys. There was Mountain Off with Mike, Wrestling in the Middle, who you guys defeated. All these other podcasters that were just lovely people. And I mean, it just became a whole thing. But
we need to blame Marcus for this, right? Marcus, this is your fault. This is all your fault.
Marcus personally. Look, I will say, I made the questions. Marcus made the brackets. So, you won. So can you complain?
No, we can't complain, but I'm just saying the stress that we had to go through with those questions. And before we keep going, I got to say, and this is a spoiler. I was going to say this a little later, but I hope that he sticks around for the whole show. So, WrestleMania, I think it was Saturday, myself and Hugh had a chance to meet the one and only, the prototype, 619. He actually came up to us, recognized us. I appreciate you, brother. I know he had to go. We really didn't get a chance to take a picture, but the next time we see you, we got to take a picture. We got to get it on the social so everybody know. Thank you for all your support. We really appreciate it. And look what he said. I'm a little late, but it must be Tuesday. By the way, it was great meeting y'all outside of. Oh, it's Sunday night. Everything just ran together because it was cold. 72,000 people, 77,000 people, just a bunch of people. It was cold. So we appreciate that. Next time we definitely got to get a picture. But let's talk about Four Sides of the Ring. So you're the trivia guy. Does each person in Four Sides of the Ring, because we're going to have, this is a preview of a future show to come. Does everybody have a niche? Because I'm the belt guy. Hugh's the graphic guy. Mm-hmm. Dwayne is the host. And Hollywood is the fallen tribal chief. But that's what we're going to call him right now because he's a little hurt. He's a morning right now. So everybody has a niche. What is about Four Sides of the Ring does everybody have?
So originally it was Marcus was the host. Zombie King is our inside professional wrestler, which he is. Brandon was our WWE guy because Brandon used to love just straight sports entertainment. He refused to watch WWE. And I was supposed to be the trivia. When I backed out, we brought Chano in, who was our producer, and love him for stepping up because he does great. But then he became the straight heel of the show. It's like you don't like this? He does. It's one of those things, and it just became so collided with everything. And now it's like everything's kind of getting mixed up because I find myself liking WWE a little more than AEW. Brandon he's going all elite. I think it has to do with, Mercedes showing up, but Brandon's all elite. And then Marcus is still Marcus, and Chano low key is becoming a face. He doesn't want to admit it, but he's becoming a face, and everything's getting switched up, and it's just like, man, where were we like 6 months ago when we had this all down and play?
And so if it kind of came together real fast for us to be able to get together in this way, but it seemed like, just like with any wrestling fan, it seems like we've known each other forever, and it seems like we just all naturally clicked. So over this weekend, it seemed like y'all went somewhere, we were somewhere, we kind of kept meeting back up, right? But on Friday, we kind of did a whole separate thing, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you got a chance to watch it. Did you get a chance to check out ROH?
I did not. I saw 2 matches out of the whole card, unfortunately. Okay. There was so much going on, but I watched the Billy Starks and I watched the Mark Briscoe.
So I'm gonna take you back to Wednesday, because a lot of people seem to forget. How many people remember this belt? This is the pre-Tony Khan ROH 6-man belt, right? Then we went back to the original 6-man title, right? But then we saw on Wednesday, because I guess they were trying to boost the ratings, they debuted a new version of this belt, which is kind of like a combination of that version, the original version, and now the Tony Khan era version. When you saw that belt, did you like it or did you not like it? What were your thoughts? So give me the good, the bad, and the ugly of it.
I don't think any trio belts look good. And that is my personal opinion. Like, any of them. It doesn't matter what company it is. There's something about the trio titles for any company where I look at them and I'm just like, they don't look like they belong. And I don't know. No. I don't know if it's the 3-man. I don't know what it is. Trio titles do not click for me. Even with the Acclaim customizing theirs and like doing the whole straps and
not even scissors, I'm not with it. Really, even with I was gonna say Black Mask. That's his move. Even with Malachi Black and them having their own custom.
I wasn't with it. There's something about trio titles I'm not with. I don't like any of the ones that like in the luchador culture. I don't like the Japan culture. I don't like them.
And so it's just like the 6-man, never open weight. You don't like that one?
It's not.
The never open weight is a pretty belt. Okay. Well, there you have it. Never is not a fan of 6-man belts, but I will tell you this. When I saw it, I said, stop laughing at me, Tony. Somebody take his money, because he keeps introducing these belts, right? But that was on Wednesday. We saw that. We're going to come back because I want to try to go in order, right? So myself and Brother Hugh, we were gifted some tickets for Battleground Championship wrestling, right? And we went to the show, and we purposely didn't see any of the card because we wanted to be surprised. We wanted to take it all in as wrestling fans. But to our surprise, there was a new belt debuted, right? When this belt debuted, it was, and now this is just the main plate. This is the full belt. When I tell you, it had the shock and the awe, and it had the, wow, now that's a championship. Oftentimes, when they debut belts, it kind of like falls flat and it takes you a little bit longer to warm up to them. It gives you a chance to say, okay, all right, this belt has to grow on me. This took no time to grow on me. And I got a surprise for everybody. Because this belt grew on me so fast, so instantly, I had to call the person responsible for this title creation to do it justice. Because, on championship culture, we like to say, every belt has a story. And I'm going to tell you, we got Brandon from Snaps and Straps, who's to blame for this beautiful thing. So if he gives me the thumbs up, I'm going to bring on because I want him to tell us the story of this. It looks like he's walking around. So I'm going to spend some more time talking about this beautiful thing. The blood spatter on the side, the whole gate behind it made it look like a steel cage. You could tell this is going to be a hardcore, grungy title that people are going to want to fight for. Not just like the hardcore title where it was a gimmick match. It didn't feel like the 24/7 was a gimmick, or like the WCW hardcore title. This feels like a championship that somebody will want to fight for. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk to the owner of Snaps and Straps and the person behind this beautiful belt. Let's bring him on so he can tell us about this belt. Hello, sir.
Hey, what's going on, guys? How y'all
How you
All
doing?
doing?
right. Nit Ram, Brandon, Nit Ram, Brandon. All right. So now we got that all squared away, right? So now you know everybody. So there's another Brandon for you, okay? Sir, how's it going? Uh-oh. Did we lose you?
All right, sorry.
Okay, there we go.
All right, I'm good now.
So tell us, what was the everybody has a story behind this belt. Because it was, I'm telling you, when me and he were sitting there, we could tell it was in a belt bag. We said, "Oh, we get a new belt today." Ooh, I thought it was gonna be like an upgrade to a championship. Not at all. Brand new creation. Can you tell us the story behind that one? Oh, I think he's having technical difficulties.
Personally, I think the belt looks awesome too. I think it looks unforgettable. It has like you said, yeah, from the red, the black and red going all the way down, it screams characteristic. Like it won't get mixed up with anything else, and that's what I look for in a title.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't blend in. Like the person holding that is gonna shine, and that's what I think looks awesome about it.
The way that the leather is cut around the strap, the details on it. Like I keep looking at the cage behind that. Like it's no doubt that it's for a battleground, but you can tell it's a hardcore, grungy
Mhm.
championship that's going to be important, not just as a gimmick.
Oh
Now,
yeah,
are we
look,
hitting the
look.
right? Oh, I think he's still having technical difficulties. Are we hitting it? While we're doing that, Willie Wood is in the comments. Sir, we're talking about the belt that debuted. That he's responsible for us being at the show. He gifted us, myself and Hugh, the tickets. And thank you, Four Sides of the Ring, for having it back. Because I drew a blank with House of Black. And Dylan, no, I do not. And I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon because I already have one, two, three, four, five versions of seven versions of the network logo. I don't need it in with a gold background to answer your question. So no, I don't have that. So I think Brandon was having technical difficulties because I want to hear the story behind this belt, and let's see if
You,
we can get him back on because this
you
is
gonna
going
get
to
a
blow
copy of
everybody
that
away.
one?
I,
You
I,
getting the?
I, I do like it. I'm telling you, I said I believe one of them. It was because it just that immediate. It had the same factor of when TNA revealed their belts. It was like,
Mhm.
wow, this is just automatically amazing. Kind of like when the world heavyweight title was debuted. I was like, this is just amazing. But then the Roman belt debuted. I was like, it's a belt.
Mhm.
So let's hear about this belt. All right, there we go.
All
You
right.
there?
Yeah, my
All right.
bad, guys. I don't know why, but my earbuds disconnected, and oh, now he's gone.
Oh,
Oh, there he goes.
there
Okay.
you go.
We're good. So tell us, everybody has a story. What's the story behind this belt?
All right. Well, of course, the owner of Battleground hit us up. We previously did their Battleground heavyweight championship and then their women's championship. So he had hit me up. He's like, "Hey, I want to bring something different to the promotion since we wrestle at the 2300 arena. I want to do something that is somebody that hasn't done." And I was like, "All right, what you got?" And so he wanted it to be called the Battleground Street Fight Championship, and I was like, "Sweet." So I had a vision, but I knew this belt had to be special, so I had to hit up Hellfire Design. He's the one that did the TNA belts. So I had to get that guy to do it because I just knew he would understand what I wanted. I had the vision, but like I said, I needed him to uh, put it on paper. And we had messed with it a little bit, and he came up with a beautiful design. It fit. It looked what to my vision, to what I wanted. Um, and we went a little bit extra, and I got with my partner that does my leather work for me, Lucky Rose Leather, and I was like, let's do some blood splatter on it. And so what we did was we took his 4-year-old nephew and his 5-year-old niece, and on each side they took their handprints and they wiped it across the belt. So as you can see on the right hand side, you got a handprint coming across. On the left hand side, you got a small one. And we wanted to so shout out to his niece and nephew for doing that. they wanted to be a part of it. So like I said, he was like, all right, well, give me your hand, because he didn't want to get his hand covered in paint. So he had them do it, and it turned out great. And then also I had a vision, since the street fight, I wanted two fists punching the logo and having the logo have it like crack a little. And it turned out to everything I wanted. And you got the Liberty Bell at the top. So just shows homage to Philly, and like I said, the wrestling at the 2300 arena. So what other arena would you want to have a street fight at?
And that is the street that it's off of, right? Right there in Swanson,
Yep.
right?
And so we put that on there because that's gonna have a street fights can be out in the street. So what other than to have the where they're going to be battling it out, and then you got some fists with some brass knuckles on there. This is a CNC etched plate, and you got like I said, American leather, and then on the back, which we don't have really any pictures. It's a gold croc skin backing.
Yes, because that was the first thing he popped. He said, "Oh, look at the gold!" Like he almost got out his seat when he saw that backing.
Dude, on TV, it popped. It popped.
Yeah, I saw it. It was sexy. Yes, sir.
Ladies and
going on,
gentlemen, that's
fellas?
Ash the Third. I think he likes backing more than he likes the fronting of the dog. Because if it's a good backing, he gets real excited. He was like, "Ooh, is that? Look at that backing!" Because he almost jumped out his seat with it. I was like, "It's gold." That's definitely a
That's
different.
true.
That
That
was
is
such.
exactly true.
You'll have a chance to purchase one of these. The owner of Battleground has a replica that we gave to him to. I don't know what he's going to do with it. It might be in a raffle. I don't know what his plans are with it, but we did a replica for him to sell, just to a little promotion, just and then to have a lucky fan take it home. So so be on the lookout on a Battleground Facebook page, and I'm sure he'll have something. I know tonight he was going live to talk about the match and all that. And the stipulation is, from what I hear, is it's anybody that's been involved in a hardcore street fight, anything. He's welcoming any promotion to come and fight for the belt. So with Tim's wide range of knowing everybody, I can only imagine who's going to show up. So he puts on one of the best cards, especially paying homage to the ECW. Having all the ECW greats on there at the after the block party. Dudley Boy, I mean everybody. Any ECW person you could think of was there at that show. It was a great show. He did a great job, and like I said, he's doing great things over there in that promotion, and I'm excited to be working for them. And a little Easter egg I'll share with you guys. There will be a new championship debuting July 6th.
No, that's not the women's show. That's the American July, because he has a couple back to back.
Yeah, it's the one. It's gonna be a new Battleground championship.
Okay, let us see it.
I even remotely show you a little dot of it.
Okay, where is it? Just send it to me. Just text it to me.
Okay,
I won't show it.
I got you. I got you.
Okay. So
wait, one question though. Wait, I know you're not a fan of the AEW trios belts or any trios belts.
I knew this was going to happen.
You see, I tried to graze mine. I was like, we don't. Everybody has a story. So I'm just gonna hit him with that first. Hold on, before we get into that, right? This is going to be the segment.
Company actually made the House of Black AEW trios belts.
It's
so what? So now, hey man, everybody has their story, bro.
Everybody has a story, ladies and gentlemen. He's trying to convince NetRam that it's a good looking belt. This is what you're missing. This is what you
now,
you have
now
multiple
you don't
people.
like the looks, or you don't like the
I think it's the
name?
I think it's the concept of 3 matching belts that I don't like because it's all clashing in the ring. Do you know what I mean? So it's like with tag belts, it's fine, but I don't even kind of like that. Like when they had the penny belts, at least when these belts, they were red and blue, it kind of diversed. But when all 3 belts look exactly the same and all 3 guys are holding it, to me, they just clash. And
So
I
you like
kind
it
of
when the
don't like
tag belts look like 2 different belts, like
Now,
mirror to each other or something like that, or
right.
one's like you can tell the difference.
Like
all
the old
3
NXT.
belts didn't look the same. You had each belt had their own custom logo on it. So now I know what you're saying with they all look the same, but that was one thing that with our company we're the custom in championships. So each wrestler got to put their own logo on the belt so that in their eyes what other company, what opportunity do you have to get your own custom logo on a belt other than the A and B, AEW, WWE. So
Right.
they that was one thing that they wanted. So each you had the Brody, the yada yada yada. Now it was such a great belt that Tony Khan bought one. So that was pretty cool. And also we were the first, I believe, to have all black snaps. So that was another something different. I don't know any other belts that have, like I said, that had the all black snaps, but totally agree with what you're saying, dude. I know what you're saying.
Because don't get me wrong, I love the trios division. I love the matches. You know what I'm saying? Like I love 6-man
3
tags.
belts
It's
being
the
in the same ring
yeah.
time.
Especially like I said with the Acclaim, they did the pink scissors. But when all 3 of them were doing that, it's just like they collided so bad. I couldn't get behind it.
No, I agree with you with that one, 110%. I can't say much on it, but yeah, I agree with you 110%.
So I'm gonna give you my reaction when they first debuted him. I said, beep, 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 beep. Tony Khan, not another new belt. I said, God. I was like, I just started like, I was like, why would he do? I was like, you know what? I should have expected it after TNT belt. But I see where you're coming from there, Ram. I always like the tag belts, like the NXT, the first ones that you could tell which one was which. They were 2 different ones. Because even G Global Force did it where they had a bird on one side and the bird on the other, so you knew it was 2 different belts. So I always like to give them something different. So, but
now, do you follow independent wrestling at all?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I love independent wrestling. I watch a lot of it. I got Fight Plus just because they put on as much independent as I can possibly get. I watch a lot of Japan stuff. Not a lot of people consider that independent. Some people do. It all depends on your take. But yeah, I love independent wrestling. I'm actually the independent guy for my group.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I love hearing that. Wrestling Revolver.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, yeah, I make the Wrestling Revolver belts too.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's sick.
Yeah.
They just had a collab show, right? This week?
Yep. And
Yeah.
I actually had 2 belts in the ring at the same time. I also made the Pink Warrior belt for KC.
Okay.
Yeah, so and then Gringo Loco had the oh shit, it's over here.
That's my guy too.
You got the remix. Now I believe we're the first ones to do the half red, half black.
And that's a pretty belt. Like that's what I'm saying. Like distinguish is like what makes everything so pretty to me. And that's like something that like a lot of people didn't like when people were like customizing the TNT titles, but I love that because it's like
I loved it.
It's your run. You should have your title.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love belts that stick out. Like that belt sticks out. Like you said, it has the half red, the half black. It goes all the way through. Like it's beautiful.
Now this one hasn't debuted yet, but I'll show it anyway.
Oh.
This is now. If you watched this show before, that I've mentioned before that I'm a huge light heavyweight WCW cruiserweight fan.
Mhm.
That's what I watched growing up. That was one belt that caught my eye, got me into wrestling. So this company needed a new cruiserweight belt. So I had the opportunity to do this, and I wanted to bring my love for both belts. So this is the new CCW Cruiserweight Championship.
The one he's gonna lose his mind when he sees that.
Yep, he showed up is.
Is he in the comments?
Yeah,
That's pretty.
Then you
Okay.
got the light
that is
heavyweight
pretty.
side plates. Pear shell case tooling
Mm-hmm.
by my main Lucky Rose leather. And then you got the red croc skin on the back.
There you go, you.
It is. Yep.
Well, Dennis King says, "Oh, that's nice," and with the fire emoji. I think he was talking about the other one before, but I wanted
The
to make
remix.
sure that
Yeah.
you saw this. Don't be surprised if Matt Cardona pulls up a challenge for it unless he already signed beforehand. That's for the street fight belt. I think that's what he was talking about there. So we got some good belts and some interesting things happening if I do say so. But I'm
Oh,
gonna tell
you'd
you
like
this.
this one then too. So Future Legend clothing. I'm sure you've heard of Future Legend.
Mm-hmm.
They had a show, and a lot of the wrestlers from Moose to Matt Vandergriff to wrestlers in WWE, they wear his clothing. So he had a tournament to show, the winner, and he's actually going to be on the card that just dropped for New Japan Pro Wrestling. He's at the bottom right, but Matt Vandergriff is our current Future Legend champion. So we did a stack Future Legend plate with a honeybee comb back plate. And then we did a orange splatter.
Oh, I thought that was red. That's orange.
Yeah, orange splatter. And then orange croc skin in the back.
Nice.
And he over here talking dirty on this daggone show.
But, yeah. All right, enough about my belts. Let's talk about Wrestlemania.
Well, remember that the theme of tonight is new belts, new champs, and a whole new era, right? Well, but before we before we
Yeah,
get
you got
there,
some.
right?
Mhm.
So we went from ROH sneaking some belts in, Battleground blowing us out of the water. We're gonna go back to ROH because ROH seems to get it, but then they don't get it because they have 7 belts on one show, and I believe 6 sets on the other show, right? So between one company, we got 13 belts. So they added a 7th belt. Now, of course, they have the women's title and then the TBS title as a secondary title on AEW. But ROH decided we not only want a television title, but we want a women's of honor television title, the women's world television champion, right? And myself and Hugh got to see this match play out. Now, gentlemen, did either one of y'all get a chance to watch this match?
Oh yeah.
First thought on it: did the right person win?
Oh yeah.
Was the belt needed?
Yes and no.
If it was coming from my company, yes.
That's some bias stuff. Did ROH need to add a secondary women's title? Let's just say that. Did ROH need a secondary women's title?
I think yes, simply for the fact everyone's doing it now, and you don't want to be the last one to do it. Because I'm not, as you know, there was another announcement for a secondary women's title on a different show.
We're gonna get to that.
My point exactly. But they seem like the last ones to do it, right? You don't want to be the last one to do it. So yes,
well,
and no.
I got a theory on that one. But before we move on to that one, nobody can beat Athena. I think that's why he had to create it, because he wanted to keep her at the top. So give them something else to fight for.
She's the
So she
Roman
doesn't
Reigns
go
of
back
that
to
division.
WWE.
Because if Sheeta couldn't beat her, and Sheeta is arguably one of the best women on that roster, whether it be ROH or AEW. Let's call her what she is, right? She's the safe. She's the, I don't want to call her the female John Moxley because he keeps defaulting and knowing if he needs a good match, he can always insert Sheeta, right? But her and Athena put on such a banger. I was like, oh, this is why they had to create the belt. It became a thing where it was like, it was needed for that, right? And I'm going to say, When I went back and thought about it, I don't mind that she won. I just don't like the way that she won because we saw it this weekend. You can do a dusty finish or a screwy finish or a false finish, right? When every match has super kick, Spanish fly, Spanish fly, arm drag, false finish, finisher, false finish, finisher, false. It gets kind of repetitive and it's not really a story. So now we had something like we legit thought that she was injured, but then Hugh had to ruin it and point out the bell never rang. I was like, oh, it's injured. And as soon as that happened, look who became the new ROH Women's World Television Champion. Is it a good thing? Yes. Is this a good thing
She follows me, so I can't be biased.
You got to give her that. But let me ask you, is it good that the belt is on the same par as the men? Same design, just a little bit smaller? Is that a good thing when they do that with the women's belts?
I can't be in this conversation, man. I'll get sued. So I gotta.
I'm just saying, is it the same?
Okay.
Think about it. All right, then Ram, answer that for me. Is it good because WWE does that too? The women belt is exactly like the men. They just change the strap.
I think what they don't want to do is have another butterfly belt fiasco. And it's like one of those things. So it's just like, well, if this is good enough for, for example, if this is good enough for Eddie Kingston or Samoa Joe, or then this has to be good enough for Billy Starks or Rio, anyone else who can get it. So it never becomes an issue of, well, why does their belt have to look like this and our belt have to look like that? I do think they should look different, though. I'm 100%. They should have got their own design. It's not that hard to give them a good design. It's one of those things.
But it has the same name. You get what I'm saying? Like, at least in TNA, you got the TNA World Champion, you got the TNA Knockout Champion, right? It has a different name. WWE is the world title, the Women's World Champion, the undisputed Universal WWE Championship. Then it's just the WWE Women's Championship. Right. So it's the same name, so there had to be a carbon copy. I'm gonna tell you honestly, I hate that it's the same way because change the strap, and that should be a spoiler for later on. Change the color of the strap. That's all I'm gonna say.
Mm-hmm.
But gentlemen, we had history being made on this same show. Not taking away from Billy Starks being the first ROH Women's World Television Champion, but we had a new ROH champion. Now, here's some backstory I want everybody to understand. Myself, Hugh, Dwayne, and Hollywood all grew up watching ROH. We used to go to the Dew Burns Arena where they would tape 3 to 4 episodes on a Saturday. We spent all day. We would be standing up for probably 6 to 8 hours at a time just absorbing wrestling. And the Briscoes were always the highlight of the show. Is that fair to say?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Right. So we've seen the growth to the no-hair Briscoes, to Mark having teeth, to Mark not having teeth, to embracing the name of chicken, to the tattoos being added, the dreadlocks coming. We've seen the evolution of the Briscoes. Now, we got to say rest in peace to Jay Briscoe, but Mark, when he first started wrestling again, I slandered Tony Khan for not giving him a belt. But this title reign that he's having right now feels like the right time. It felt special. Now, granted, it was 5 years? How long would they say it was to the date where Jay
the exact day anniversary? I think it was like 5 or 3. It was like 3 to 5 years or something like that.
Yeah, so when his brother won it. And he wanted to get somebody that was close to him. So was this the right time? And was this the right place to do this? Let's see what the brothers have to say. Well, let's start with you, Nivram. Was this the right choice?
People aren't going to like me for this because I talked to Hugh about this when we were walking on, and I told him, I said, I get it. I get why you did it, and it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. I'm not taking that away from him. He's getting to do something that his brother did. You get to share that anniversary date. That's beautiful. But he has to be a transitional champion, right? Like, I don't think Mark is the guy And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but he's not the guy to carry Ring of Honor in any sense to me personally. And it feels like I said, it felt like this was gifted to him. And I'm not saying that he didn't deserve it. I'm not saying that at all. But it feels like this has to be a transitional reign, in my opinion. And that's how I felt about it. Because like the match to me was so predictable. It was like once I saw it and then, they talked about the anniversary, I was like, oh, well, this is a gift for Mark, which is fine. That's fine. But he can't be like, this is not going to be a long reign. And I feel like that's going to hurt it more than anything, in my opinion.
So me and you are biased. So Brandon, what say you? Because we're gonna give you our take on it. But what say you, Brandon? Was this
You want to
the
know
right
real
time?
bias? You're asking the wrong person because I haven't watched AEW since my belts went off TV, and that was Wimbledon.
Hey, I am not mad at that. Hey.
All right. So Hugh, what say you? What say you before I give my take on it? Because I'm gonna give y'all a different.
So who is it? So was there a tournament? Because wasn't MJF the champion?
No, this is
ROH.
Ring of Honor. This is Ring of Honor. This is when Eddie Kingston. Remember,
Eddie was the champion, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So
he had already dropped the what's that belt called?
The
Continental Classic. The Continental. Yeah, he already dropped that too. Yeah, okay. Because they basically said, it can be defended separately. So then he dropped this one. But he didn't come out with his New Japan Strong. I didn't check to see if he had just lost it. But
no, he still how. So I thought the Continental and the other one was one belt.
So that's what they presented it as, like the Triple Crown. They were all going to be one. And then they signed Okada and was like, well, we got a belt on Eddie Kingston we can give you. That's how I felt they did it. Because for a while, it was presented as one. All three titles were presented as one title. And then it was like, all of a sudden, they were just like, okay, Eddie's losing everything.
All of a sudden, yep. So let's address this comment first before Hugh goes. My only problem with Mark getting the belt was the way it has been booked. That's part of what I was going to say, because when I say me and Hugh are biased, we know what Mark and Jay could do together and separately. Mark and Jay could both put ROH on their back and be that person and be that guy in different aspects and in different lights.
He's a veteran. He's been around forever. So I understand. And he has never been world champion, correct?
Correct.
Right. This is first time.
So give the man his flowers for 3 pay-per-views, 2 pay-per-views, whatever it is. And I'm sure, I don't. How long is he under contract? Is he going to be under contract after 3 more pay-per-views? Is he?
Yeah, I think he signed a multi-year deal after his brother passed.
Because that was a big deal that they signed the deal.
So this is his final year then of his contract. So maybe they're giving him kind of like a ride off into the sunset. You never know. That's one thing, like with working promotions, you kind of get an idea, because sometimes they might slip up and tell you, especially when you're making new championships. They'll be like, yeah, this guy's our new champion. And then I got to like hold this in for like 3.5 months, so, you kind of sometimes you can see how a story plays out because what's going to happen, in 2 pay-per-views, somebody's going to win the belt. So, you see the trend. So like I said, maybe that's a homage to him, to his family, you never know. Like I said, he might sign a deal somewhere else. He might, you never know. But, him having the belt makes sense right now because, one, who on that card has the credentials to hold that belt. And this is coming from somebody that doesn't really watch it. Like, I watch some of the wrestlers because, one, like I said, I'm friends with them. So, like, Jack Cartwheel, I watch him all the time. Starks, watch her. There's certain Lady Frost. So, like, there's certain individuals that I'll watch just their matches, but I'm not sitting there watching through the whole card. So, like, in your guys' opinion, who do you think has the credentials to match him to hold that belt right now? That's not an AEW official wrestler. That's on the ROH, hopping up and off.
The lines are so blurred. I don't know if we can make that distinction.
Right.
Because
like
think about
share a roster.
Yeah, the tag team champs are actually AEW guys, or are they actually ROH guys? Look
Yep.
at I know he hates the 6-man champs. They are technically AEW guys, but they're holding ROH belts. The lines are so blurred. And I'm gonna say this: I love the fact that Mark wanted. I wanted him to win it. Was it last year when he first passed? I was like, it's the right thing to do. Give
Yeah.
him that because he's always been close to it, but never have able to have it. But I was okay with him winning it now. It was such a great moment. But Kyle Fletcher is the next person up, probably, unless his partner comes back. Because when I tell you Kyle Fletcher stole the show,
Yeah, he
that
did.
probably was the match of
Definitely
the
did.
night. He definitely showed who he was. And I think that it's safe to say he's probably one of the last real ROH wrestlers that hasn't been transitioned both because his partner was hurt. But on the same token, I think it was the right time. What say you, Hugh?
I mean, for sentimental reasons, yes, it was the right time. But I agree with Nick Ram. He's probably gonna be a transitional. As much as I hate to say it, because I love Mark to death. Like we go way back. From like you said, ROH days. It was MCW, all that good stuff. Um, but yeah, definitely he probably be a transitional. I hopefully he'll keep it for like I would say a good couple pay-per-views, like Brandon said. But it is what it is. I mean, it was a nice moment, and I'm happy that it happened for him.
Mm.
Tony made the right decision for once.
Yes.
Let's put it that way.
And let's just while we talked about new belts, new champs, and new eras, what do y'all think about New Japan belts? Should they be on AEW or ROH? Kingston still has that strong style belt. I'm gonna say this. I can't remember who the wrestler was that said it. You don't see the Super Bowl champs at the NBA game with their trophy.
Hmm. Hmm.
Stay where you are. Be that champion there. Unless you're doing a promotional match, I don't. I really hate when they do that because it just like okay, Jordan Grace appeared at the Royal Rumble. Cool, that was a promotional match.
Mhm.
If she had a match on Monday Night Raw, like as much as I hate when they do it in the same company, when they move wrestlers, like when the world champion appears on SmackDown, or like just on Monday we had the NXT, both of their champions appear on Raw. I'm like, all right, you took it away from a time I could have seen somebody on Raw, but I get why you're doing it. When there's other companies, I hate it. I hate it with a passion. What
That
say you,
hasn't
Brandon?
been that hasn't been relevant since Undisputed Era. Having another wrestling belt on a major wrestling belt on another major promotion that's not a pay-per-view. That I think that's the only time that it really was hyped. One was because of the wrestlers. You had Strawn, Cole, Fish,
Mhm.
O'Reilly. You had 5-star wrestlers walking out with those belts. But like other than that, like and then of course having Impact and TNA showing up to Royal Rumble, which was a genius idea. Finally opening the door, for a company like that to be on a major pay per view, because a lot of times, man, these fans that are just focused on A and B wrestling, they have no idea like these independent promotions that those A and B wrestlers are on these independent promotions wrestling, having belts, defending the belts. John Moxley is a big part of Wrestling Revolver. Nobody
Mhm.
has no idea that he helps out a lot. So it's like just those little things. If you love wrestling, you love all those wrestlers, like focus, look into like Fight TV, look at all those wrestling matches and stuff. You're gonna be in awe with the talent that are on these cards. So in that sense, I mean, it just like you said, it just depends. Nowadays, everything's going on opinion. So I mean,
Right.
no matter what you say, no matter what somebody else is having a biased opinion about, I mean, that's all it is. We're not cutting the checks. We're not all that shit. So like I
Hmm.
get a little bit biased when a competitor of mine is working for a promotion I want to work for. I'm not gonna lie. Like, man, I want to work for that promotion. So so when I see other belts showing up on other promotions that are like my belt showing up on another promotion, that's awesome. That's like an ultimate goal for that's just my line of work. Now coming from a fan perspective, you might for example, Friday Wrestling Revolver versus House of Glory, I'd say there are probably about 15 belts that were on that show that weren't House of Glory or Wrestling Revolver. So you're getting all these belts. I mean, it's cool. Some of them look cool. Some of them look like they need to be redone by actual makers. No disrespect, but that's just how this business is. So seeing that is really freaking cool. But like I said, to an average fan, seeing like an AEW belt show up on, uh, Ring of Honor or TNA or New Japan, like if it's not coming from like that maker, some people might not think it's a good idea. But I mean, again, it's pretty cool though. Like Matt Riddle showed up to GCW with his New Japan TV belt.
Right.
That was dope. So I think when you like certain wrestlers that have certain titles show up to certain promotions, that's when you might the popular ones. That's when you might say, "Oh, that's fucking cool." But some Joe Schmo showing up with some 2mm plate belt on on AEW or Ring of Honor or New Japan, you're gonna see shit talked about. That's just the way
Right.
the internet is.
But I think what he's, and Dennis, correct me if I'm wrong, because I think I know where you're coming from and where Dennis coming from are two different. Like I agree with the indie scene, but because it was one of those shows, and you might have to correct me. It was an AEW show where it was so many champions
Mm-hmm.
on there that weren't even AEW champions was on this pay per view. It was so distracted. There was one like 6-man match had every other champion but an AEW champion. I was like, wait a minute, you got RH, you got New Japan, and there was somebody else. I was like, why is that so much? But you have a whole roster full of people. Now, if it's an
Right.
indie show, and you said I'm the ROH Pure Champion, Will Yuta, and he showed up at MCW to fight the MCW Rage Television Champion, Miles Hawkins. Perfect. Great. Love it. But on weekly episodic TV, if I got 17 different wrestlers coming to my promotion on TV, but I got a whole locker room full of people, it should be the reverse. You get what
And
I'm
I
saying? I
think
think that's what.
Yeah.
You will get that. Now, I'm sorry I won't interrupt anybody anymore, but
No, you're okay.
Friday or Saturday, GCW Defy had their pay-per-view.
Hmm.
I had 4 wrestlers that had belts from other promotions, and they wouldn't let them bring those to the ring. Now the 4 promotions that were involved with Defy was GCW, and 2 other smaller promotions. Those wrestlers were allowed to wear their belts, but when my wrestlers, Gringo Loco, KC, what's the other promotion? Crap, sorry, I'm looking at all my belts real quick. Hold on. Vandergriff, Lance Archer. Lance Archer is the Revolution champion for it's kind of like a warrior / brewery company. They're holding up, they're doing shows now. Lance Archer showed up and won this belt. They're not going to let him walk out AEW with this belt. So
Right.
it depends on the promotion, and it depends, again, household name. Moose wears my TNA belt to all of his indie shows. We're still waiting for the okay for him to wear it on TV. Probably won't happen, but that's just the business. It is what it is. And I'll tell you one thing though. I'll send you the artwork. Brian Cage is a really good friend of mine. He got me in the door with AEW. We had artwork already done for the new Ring of Honor 6-man tag team belts. The artwork's been done probably maybe 6 months ago, and Young Bucks pretty much said no. And I can't. That's all I can say. I'll just say there's a lot of drama with the AEW. In the business side of it. So yeah, we just stay clear from them now, and yeah, so I can't really like comment on anything, but we had ROH 6-man artwork done, ready to go, and we pretty much got blacklisted from AEW.
Facts.
So let's move away from AEW. We'll say because something exciting happened. And I made a comment earlier about this, right? If you're going to give it the same name, give it a different strap, right? We were sitting at Stand and Deliver, doing this new era, new champs, right? I'm sorry, new belt, new champs, new era, right? And Ava comes across the screen and said, "Yeah, that's a good example of why NXT has such an in-depth women's roster." I said, "Wait a minute, that was a WWE promo, but okay." And it was like, you could tell it was a pre-recorded. It's like, that's why I'm going to introduce the Women's North American Championship. And I instantly let over, was like, they're doing the thing. They're doing the thing. I was like, oh, NXT. You know how to get to my pockets. Let's talk about this. Ram, to you. Where were you when you saw this announcement?
I was there in the stadium.
Uh-huh.
I was sitting next to Brandy Savage.
Behind us, right?
And okay, you had better seats. No, I'm just kidding. And when the announcement came, I looked at him because I know for a fact that is Brandy Savage's favorite title design is the North American title. He talks about it all the time. It is his favorite title design. And he looked at me. He goes, "I didn't think it could get any better, but they put it on a white strap.
A white strap.
And I might buy that for myself." And I told him, I was like, "It's a women's championship." He goes, "I don't care. That white strap on that title looked incredible." And he was instantly Googling it. Like, I was like, "Bro, we just saw it." He's like, "No, I need to look at it again." He started looking at it, and he showed me, and I looked at it, and I said, "This sounds totally hypocritical. Because I've been complaining about how these belts all look the same. But if you're gonna pick one belt to duplicate, that was the one. Because that belt is freaking gorgeous. That is a gorgeous title."
Mm-hmm. Shout out to Marcus that knows you so well, Hugh. Hugh, tell him your thoughts on this belt, because we need to hear from you. Ash the Third, tell us your thoughts on this belt.
Man, I got hot and bothered, bro. I had to get up and leave.
You did get up and was gone for a long time. I was about to send a search party out for you. I was like, you've been gone for a minute.
You go in the bathroom?
No. Not that time, no. But no.
Excuse me.
But no, I went straight to the merchandise table to see if they had it or something. Like, look, if they was putting it out on the shelves or display or whatnot. But of course they didn't, and I was searching because in the actual arena I didn't have good service, so I stepped out a little bit. Just like started googling, hitting the WWE shop, all that, just looking for it, and of course it's not up there yet. But
because WWE clearly made $10 billion over this weekend.
Absolutely,
they could have made another $1 billion if they had that belt available.
Absolutely,
because I would have definitely slid my card for that one.
They could have even made it for that speed belt. I thought they were going to debut that speed belt at the WrestleMania store, and that was another like speculation I had, because they're charging people to go into the store so that people didn't just walk in, take pictures, and walk out. That's what I think. That was one thing they were, because that was one thing they were trying to reduce, and I thought because of that, they had some new secret belts, in the back, VIP section. You pay $60 to get in, and you pay another $160 to go into the private room. I thought that, it was gonna be something hyped up, but no, they just took more of your money. I'd love to hear you, but I can't.
I think Brandon's muted.
Yeah, are you muted or something? We don't hear enough of you saying, buddy.
I will say though, them announcing that title and then immediately making the announcement that Julia was there. And it just like, I was like, oh man, you pretty much just made a whole title for herself. Like, it was kind of like they just handed her something. And I was just sitting there like, and I was like, there ain't no way it's not for her. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's just no way.
Maybe that's what they want you to think, and some WWE star is going to come in and win it.
if they do some tournament, and I say this with as much respect as I can, and somebody like Kalani Jordan, Fallon Henley, any of them come out and just beat Julia flat clean, I would never watch NXT for at least a year. For at least a year, I won't watch it. Not until
So apparently, I had a whole conversation. Y'all didn't hear my conversation.
No, that was with yourself, boss.
Right. Because you see, Dennis and Brandon still talking, and then President said, "No sound, big dog." So I think y'all answered my first question. I said, "Is this a chance to make a new star, or is it for established star?" So we know who Knit Round wants. Who do you want to see as the first ever women's North American champion?
Oh man, that's tough. There's so many talented young ladies out there. I guess right now, well, I was gonna say like a Lola Vice maybe, but I think she's bigger than that title right now.
Oh,
She should be up there for the NXT title soon, the NXT Women's title real soon.
Agreed.
So I was thinking of like a Fallon Henley, someone around that ballpark because Fallon's been rising. Even to a Soruka, she's a rising star. Put it on her. Or you can go to safe route and go with what's her name, Kiana James. She's another one that's good. You just have so many like talented young ladies down there that you can throw it on. It's just I honestly don't
how
know.
about your girlfriend from Chase U? Because her promo was on fire.
Thea Hall.
She might be a good one.
She might be. I feel like she's a Shawn Michaels girl, but I'm gonna give you my take on it. You know, I think gonna win.
Who's that?
Chelsea Green.
Oh,
yo! I was just gonna say that.
You think she goes back down?
I think she goes to be part of the tournament, and I think she does something because imagine her with look what she did with the tag belt. She brought so much eyes to that belt. And then think about this.
Matt
Here's something
Cardona's
else.
wife.
Yes,
right.
thank you. That's what I was going to say. Can you imagine Mario Cardona walking to the ring? Back to our other conversation. That's my pick to win it. If Jillian doesn't win it, or they don't even put her in the tournament, and Chelsea Green's in it, I'm saying it right now. Chelsea Green, because what she can do with that roster.
That was the first person that came to my mind when y'all were talking about that. I was like, "Oh my god, please! I can't wait to go next. I can't wait to go next."
Because Fallon Henley is my number 2, and Thea Hale is number 3. But I'm telling you, it's got to be Chelsea Green.
Chelsea is she is such a great wrestler. If you watched her at Impact, she killed it. She was in hardcore matches. She is a great wrestler. I wish they were using her more than just a loud wrestler. You know, she has so much talent, and I'm glad they put the tag belts on her when she first. I saw her live at Raw in Nashville when she was champion, and she still has that same aura that she had at Impact. You know, she's good with the crowd. She works with the crowd. Crowd loves her. I know there's a lot of Canadians that love her. You know, her dropping down and winning that belt would actually you want to put. I don't know how NXT runs, but usually what happens, you want to put a belt on a household name. Usually right off the bat, it signifies the belt, it signifies the division, and you can build storylines with that. You know, and that also works vice versa with new coming wrestlers. That's why I like how that's one thing I do. I do like how they cleaned house with NXT and they brought in all these new wrestlers. That that was a genius idea, because like I said, now you can plug in, you know, Dolph Ziggler when he showed up. You can plug in, you know, certain individuals that aren't getting work and at the top. You know, they can come down and do a storyline with an up and coming wrestler, so that puts that wrestler over. That's usually what happens. Is they'll have an up and coming wrestler fight a household name just so that that newcomer can top that household name and take over that division, that belt, whatever. So, like I said, you saying Chelsea Green, dude, that was my first fucking idea when it came to mind. She fits that, and that division and that belt would look damn good on her.
Now that you
And
say that, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Fallon Henry is going to win the first NXT North American Championship, according to Chris in the comments. And then, Nick Ram's twin brother said, "Is Jade too big for that belt?"
So hear me out on this, and this is where I was going to get at why it needs to be Julia. When AEW announced the TBS title, they threw it on Jade Cargill, and not only did it elevate her prime, because at a point she's absolutely nobody at this point, but it elevated her to a sense to what she is right now. You put that belt on Julia and let her have a run where she doesn't need to mess with the, whoever the main going for the main title is right now. Let her have a run, and because she's a fabulous wrestler, I'm sure we're all familiar with her work, but let her go ahead and outshine all these people in NXT to the point where she has this run like Asuka did years ago.
About to say,
to where when you need to bring down that big name, that's who you have to bring down. You bring down an Asuka, you bring down an Io Sky, a Kairi Sane, someone where there's history already there, and she makes the belt prestige. Because in my opinion, you give it to Chelsea Green, and she's a comedy act. And regardless,
but she could float between all three shows. She would float through all three shows.
Comedy act.
That's how
that's how you get. That's how you get the belt over, though.
Look at Dominic Mysterio. He had the North American title on Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. He had it on all three shows.
Look what she did with the tag team titles when she has them.
I get what he's saying. No, I get what you're saying because, like I said, she's loud. She's a loud mouth. That's her character right now. Now, when she was Impact, she was Billy Badass.
Right.
So I wish they would have left that Billy Badass because she could turn heel too. That could be a good time because if she turned heel, but who you picked though, that's great points. I mean, it sounds like it, but again, if she's in a feud with the heavyweight champion right now, you really can't have her stop what she's doing to focus on that. They with storylines, they have to, develop into, the theatrical, showcase that what wrestling is. And
that's my point, is to keep Julia away from the heavyweight women's NXT.
See, I haven't watched it, so I don't know. So is she feuding with the champion right now?
No. She just made her like in crowd. You know how NXT like they do an in crowd debut when they make new signings. They did that for her, and
so apparently she was in the.
She hasn't even debuted yet.
Oh, so
besides that appearance, where she was sitting next to William Regal.
She was sitting next to William Regal.
Yeah, great.
But she looked like she was bothered. She didn't look like she was happy. She was like this.
She was not amused by those.
Yeah, she was just like.
Yeah.
But she did put out a tweet or something saying that she did not expect to get a pop, and obviously we popped for her. So.
Nah,
so wait a minute. Do you see this? We forgot about Cora Jade.
But if there is a tournament, I would put money on it. Y'all got it right here. I'd put money on it that Natalia's in it because she likes to be in the first of everything. I would put.
Who was that said about Natalia? And no matter what's going on, she's always going to do something. Was that you?
She loves to be in the first of
everything. Was that you?
Yeah, it was him.
All right. So with that being said, sir, because you ain't gonna have a Natalia right tonight, we're gonna ask you this thing: will this belt be a game changer?
Yes.
For the women's division.
Yes, 100%.
Is this a pilot for secondary titles or Raw and SmackDown for the women?
I think this will be the first title in like a year or so that actually gets called up with somebody and goes to either SmackDown and Raw or they flip-flop it. But I think the title eventually leaves NXT.
But what NXT has there, that's the one set. Now they said Ilian off and Roxanne will be in the draft.
Right.
Every time an NXT champion gets drafted, they vacate the title. But when a Raw SmackDown superstar gets drafted, they either have to switch the title with the other person or they stay. Because remember, we had Rhea Ripley on Raw with the SmackDown Women's Champion for a month? You know what I mean? We had what you call it, what the Raw Women's Championship on SmackDown. So that's the only time they did it because we knew they had new belts coming. But does this belt become a pilot for a secondary title? What say you, brother Has the third?
How do you, I have another question. How do you feel about it like a Dakota Kai?
Nope.
That's a good
She only
shout.
works with. So my problem with Dakota, she only works with, you know, I'm gonna say Tegan Knox. I feel like her best days was with Tegan Knox.
But it could be another way to solidify her. You know, she's coming back off an injury, and
Mhm.
she's not really doing too much right now with the damage control. She's just
But
a
she has
mouthpiece.
that
She's just a
backing,
manager.
which makes it believable.
She
Also,
yeah,
Exactly,
she needs to be
exactly.
part of damage control. She's got to be.
Yeah, she has to.
which would
Yeah.
also
She
get
has
damage
to.
control on NXT if she has a belt, which brings star
But they
power.
had the tag belts.
Exactly,
They
I
supposed to
didn't think
flip
about
between
it,
all
but now
three.
it's making
exactly.
sense. But now it's making
Well,
She's
sense.
they
supposed.
lose.
You get
They
more
lose
exposure
those
to the
tag
tag belts
belts at
too.
Backlash to whatchamacallit. They lose those to Backlash, and you could probably see them drop down as damage
That's
control
true.
down to NXT. I mean, how many trios factions are there in the women's division?
They're the only trio.
None at all.
I
Yeah,
think that's it.
that's it.
I think that's it. Jade, Bianca, Naomi now, two.
Yeah,
That
so you
was
can't
awesome.
have too many. How many can you have in each? You know, so I can see them as a trio. Like I said, could drop down to NXT and cause chaos and havoc. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
Mhm.
I mean that'd be good for ratings for NXT too. You know, and like you
Yep.
said, there isn't really anything for them there now that they kicked, her out, whatchamacallit out,
Bailey.
Bailey.
and then Ito just lost the belt. You know, so I'm sure eventually I can see tension and then breaking up, but those three staying together.
Right. Right.
So
But like
now
I said, these are all opinions.
these are.
But
Oh
Facts.
yeah.
Facts.
I'm just waiting to see what they're going to do with it because I didn't get a chance to watch NXT because we're on championship culture right now. But let me ask you this, brothers: the main event of the weekend, when everybody was waiting for, right, was WrestleMania Night 1 and Night 2. I'm not going to go in any particular order. I'm just throw some curveballs out there, right? So I will have to say, I was totally in shock. Well, we got a new NXT champ. I mean, I'm sorry, new IC champ. I did not expect Gunther to lose to Sami Zayn. Now, brothers, I'm gonna start with you, Nivram. Was this expected or unexpected?
So here's my thoughts on this. Gunther just had a baby, so it was expected, right? But what was the point in telling the Rocky story with Sami Zayn if you weren't going to do the Rocky story in the ring with Sami Zayn? I wanted Sami to start getting defeated, start giving
I'm
up,
sorry.
and Chad Gable to be at the side of the ring banging, get up, be his Mickey. I wanted him to be his Mickey. And I feel like we didn't get that Rocky feeling because it was just like, as soon as they gave Sammy that beautiful entrance, I mean, beautiful. The camera work all the way up, everything was beautiful about it. But it was just like, I sat there and I said, what was the point in doing the Chad Gable story if Chad wasn't even on the sideline for it? Like it wouldn't have. I thought it would have been more believable if Chad was there to motivate Sammy to get the win, more than Sammy just getting the clean win automatically. You know what I mean? I
I
wanted him to
could.
get that motivation in him. But overall,
So,
I mean,
Yeah.
great match for what it was.
so I got a question for you, namesake. Was Sammy the right person to dethrone Gunther? Come on, Brandon, talk to the people. Was Sammy the right person to end the 666 or 667-day reign of Gunther? Was he the right person?
I don't think it should have ended on 666 days. Like
Right.
he couldn't have got his ass whooped and then won last night. I mean that would have been fucking awesome because back in the day that used to happen. They used to lose in the pay-per-view and then somehow, some way they got a rematch the next night and they would win. So that would have been awesome. And what you pointed out in first was having Gable there in the beginning but not having him by him in the ring. like you said, getting the piss beat out of him, and then him coming down, to the ring and motivating him to do that whole Rocky, yo Adrian,
Right.
it's because his wife was right there. Like it just made sense having Gunther like put him like his face to that side rail where his wife was right there, like saying give up, like they could have taken it to like a whole nother level because the beginning of it was, like you said, was just beautiful. Like have that drama in beginning or like in the middle, where, like I said, where he's getting that, where he's about to give up, he can't stand up anymore, and then maybe his wife jumps out of the out of her seat and motivates him. They could have took so many like angles from that, and honestly, I don't think Sammy got his ass handed to him enough, like Gunther does with all of his other matches. Like he literally beats the piss out of people to where their chests are bleeding, and like
Right.
I didn't that out of all those matches, that's the one match that I think that sticks out the most. That where there could have been more to that, but there wasn't. I mean, it was a great story. It was great all around, but Sammy should have got his ass beat to where there was blood pouring out of him for him, and then for him to win.
Right.
So before we go to Hugh, brother Hugh, let's address this comment. I love Sammy in the middle with it. I love Sammy to death. I would also love the story of Chad Gable getting that big win and play out. Yes, Sammy. Well, in the last episode, we said he's had 3 other Intercontinental title runs, right? And it seems like even Dennis King said, "I love Sammy, but no." And even Nick Ram's twin brother said no. Just a simple no. And then it says, Chris said, my heart said Sami Zayn was going to win. Hugh, when that 3
Mhm.
count hit, what was your first reaction?
Why? Like, to be honest, I didn't like it at first because Gunther is the man and he should have dominated that whole thing. Like, I mean, I all right. Well, look, I'm tired of the underdog story for Sami Zayn. That's what he is now. He's the ultimate underdog. He's DB, and that whole thing. I think you could have put a spin on it by having Chad Gable maybe even turn on him somehow, some way. You could have had another feud, and then maybe you could have had a triple threat match down the line or something. But I was upset because Chad Gable didn't get his chance to shine. To be honest,
Mhm.
I mean, he had his chances before, but he got this close, and then you didn't pull the trigger. You just kind of threw him to the side. You already separated him from Alpha Academy, so why not use him? Put him in the match somehow, some way, and let him get his shine. I thought Gunther was going to win for sure. I'm not
That's why
upset
you need a
that
cruiserweight
Sammy won.
division.
That's why I
You
said
said
you need
what?
that. He said you need that cruiserweight belt.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think we all kind of split with this. But let me ask this question. If you ever watched Championship Culture or if you ever watched the flagship show of the Rest from Now, it's no secret. I was in DC and the crowd was quiet. And I was yelling at this lady to just look at me. I wanted everybody to see me. And he was sitting next to me. He called me all kinds of names. And I'm talking about none other than Bailey, our new WWE Women's Champion, right? So everybody seems to say the same thing about her, right? She always takes the back seat. She always does what's right. She's always been that safe person, putting everybody else first before herself. Did this win feel validated to you, Nitram? Was this win validated?
I love Bailey. I've loved Bailey since her hugger phase. I've loved her till now. I loved her when she did that little Karen gimmick somewhere in the middle. I love Bailey, and I like a couple episodes on Four Sides. They were talking about that she was the weakest of the 4 horsewomen, and I was like, y'all are tripping.
Mm-mm.
I was like, that's
First
Becky.
Grand Slam champion for a reason.
It's definitely Charlotte, Sasha, Bailey, Becky, and and I just I think Bailey told this story. It was so predictable, but it was still told so well that it did not bother me that it was predictable. the whole damage control turning on Bailey, all the way to her winning the Rumble, to her winning the championship, was all predictable. But it was told so well, it did not bother me at all. So I think it's justified. I think it's great for her. She's another one. I think she's a transitional champion. I give her one pay-per-view max. I think she loses in her second pay-per-view.
To who? To who?
That's the question. To who?
Did you say Charlotte?
Oh, I would love that. Love Charlotte Flair.
Okay, so we're gonna move on from here. So, Brandon, question for you: when Bailey won, right? Well, first being in the arena, I felt so bad for our entrance. I felt bad for EO because it was so quiet when EO came down. It was like
crickets.
nobody was even saying yay or boo, but they seemed to be able to turn that match up and get people to start chanting for them. Was this a move that was definitely needed for Bailey, or was this a move needed for EO?
I heard so many negative things about the crowd with Wrestlemania, how they were just dead. I don't know if that was just hearsay or just
Well, it was
rumors,
cold.
but
It was cold both days.
I heard crowd noise was pumped in for TV. Because I know they're one of the only companies that have a microphone still underneath the ring.
The ring, yeah.
So, I don't know, what you never know. Because that's funny that we talk about this. I was just on a live with Phil Stamper. He's the president of wrestling, and he does the auto for Wrestling Revolver, and that was one thing he said it was hard to focus in on because he said there was weird things happening during the show with Otto. He said there are a lot of things were fixed, and and I kind of I didn't get into it, but I was like, was it the crowd? Was it? And he's like, yeah, the crowd was dead, and you can tell he was in Philly, but he had just got done with the show and he had watched all of night one and he watched the main event of night two, and he could tell that there was something going on with the sound. And like I said, my partner was there. He was sitting, not far away, but he was still on that second row. Or that's before you got the floor and then you got that first section. He was on that first section, and he was screaming. His voice was shot. So maybe in different parts of the arena, there different noise. I know when you're in the front few rows, it's loud as shit. So now when you get the whole 70,000 people and you have to pump noise in, that's bad. So, like I said,
That's what it was. I probably need to go back.
If that was true or not, but I heard from a few people that the noise and the crowd wasn't hyped for WrestleMania, for it to be like a WrestleMania 40. One, because you're in Philly, man. It's like think of it as Eagles fans, man. Like if they're not excited for somebody they don't like, they're not gonna cheer. So that's just on the football side. Philly's a tough crowd. So
very much so.
You never know. So for Ito to walk out and nobody not saying anything. One, I'm not surprised. But like I said, you don't know unless you're actually there witnessing it. So can't really speculate too much on that. Like I said, if you're not there, but like I said, my partner was there, and when I was talking to him on the phone today, he could hardly talk because his voice was so shot. Yeah.
So, Hugh, last thing I'm going to ask you about Bailey, and I want your honest opinion. Are you ready?
Fine. Yes.
So, no, are you ready?
Fine.
Are you ready?
Sure. Yeah.
Does she lose it to Charlotte?
You know my answer to that, man. Yes. But now, to be honest, I think she has a decent reign. But how long has Charlotte been out?
But they
You said
gotta
the
pump this
short
title.
by
career, though?
SummerSlam, right?
Like winning
She should
it
be back
every
by
time.
SummerSlam.
You know, that's
It's
my
old.
gimmick. She
It's
got to
old.
come back. It is. But the thing is, like, if you look at the SmackDown roster when it comes to the women, right? They didn't really push EO the way that she was in NXT. This wasn't the same EO because NXT. Remember, she was the one to beat Charlotte and Rhea for the title in that triple threat match. Remember, Charlotte was the champion. Rio came out and she had a great run as NXT Women's Champion. And then she had that flash with her and Hughes' other girlfriend, Zoe Starks, as tag team champions. Then she was ready to leave, and then she came back into the fold. But I think that this may become bigger than what we thought because there are some dance partners, but I think those dance partners are going to be occupied. That Bailey's going to get the run that she should have had during the COVID time. Because remember, she carried us through COVID. Imagine what she can do now, at least to get us to the summer. So the next thing,
Well,
and it's
we
straight.
gotta wait until that draft is over too. See who she
That's
get.
what I was going to say. What if she winds up on Raw?
We'll see a little Tiffy come through. Maybe
She
she'll
probably
take
going
it
to wind up
over.
on Raw.
I'd like that.
Probably.
Yes.
Right.
So, fellas, sticking with night 2, right? We got 2 new world champions in the same match. Well, not necessarily the same match. Drew McIntyre was champion for 5 minutes and 46 seconds. And then we got the what does he call himself?
Real quick, could you imagine like Drew McIntyre walking in Triple H's office? He's like, I want to win the championship in front of a crowd again. And Triple H's like, okay, let's make it happen. And then he goes and like the night of the show, he's like, hey, you're gonna win, but you're only gonna win for like 4 minutes because now homie's gonna cash in his money in the bank. He's like, you got your wish, you won in front of a crowd. Now I gotta take that away from you.
Or maybe he wins it in front of his home crowd again. With Damian Priest, right? This was such a breath of fresh air because I felt like, and I've said it before, I felt like Seth's gimmick was he barely won, or who's going to take the title from him, right? Was this a breath of fresh air, and do you think this is what people wanted?
So I'm super biased here, guys. As a Puerto Rican, seeing a Puerto Rican hold the world championship, like, just brings joy. Like, everybody at Four Sides was super excited. We changed our logo to purple for him. I mean, like I said, it's a Puerto Rican. He's the first Puerto Rican, I believe, in 50 years to hold the world title. Like, to us, that's something so special. I don't care how he won it. I don't care who he beat. I don't care how long he holds it for. We have that. Right. And for us, that's special.
Hell yeah.
So, as far as I'm concerned, Judgment Day is the new acknowledgement for me. That's who I'm acknowledging. Those are my people. You know, they're all honorary but equals with me, you know, because we have a Puerto Rican world champion. And you can't take that away from me. I felt this happy when Zelina won Queen in the Ring because they couldn't take that away from her. It's just like little things like that for us means so much because we don't get it normally. And that's why I loved it so much.
Now, would you be okay if it would have been the other way around, that he had a failed cash in?
I would have been heartbroken.
Well, let me rephrase that. If he would have, they would have said on Monday Night Raw, you got to fight Drew, and he lost it back. Would you still been okay?
Yeah, I would have been fine with it. And the reason why is because still in the history books, he's champion. And we have that. We can say that. We had a Puerto Rican champ in the last 10 years, the last 5 years, the last 50 years. You know what I'm saying? When people think Puerto Rican champion, they think Pedro Morales. You know how long ago that was? It's crazy.
A lifetime ago. Literally a lifetime ago. That's a whole different generation.
Right. We've had so many Puerto Rican stars since then never get the opportunity, never get the chance. And now we do. And, you know, like everyone, you know, I told you guys this. You guys asked what was the big deal about Bad Bunny. And I was like, it's because for us Puerto Ricans, like he put us out there. You know, and in a sense, without Bad Bunny, there is no Damian Priest follow-up because that's what really put him on. So
that
for
Puerto Rico too.
Yeah, you know, that's what I'm saying. So for like Puerto Ricans, like to us, this is something special that we cherish. And there's nothing that they can do to take it away from us. It's in the history book. We have a Puerto Rican champion. He could lose the next pay-per-view, and we would still talk about this like it happened yesterday.
Well, since you mentioned that, does main event Jey Uso take it from him.
Nah, he's
Let's
not the
say
one.
you has. Let's go to has the third. Does Jey Uso take it from him at
No, I don't
Backlash?
think so. I don't think so because Jimmy's still lurking around. They're not. He have unfinished business, and Jimmy
Brandon, I
said
know
it
I should have went to
already.
you.
And they got to make
He
up for
he
that
said
lackluster they gave us.
yes. That
But why
yeah.
can't they make up for it after the draft and put them on the same show and let them battle it out
Mm.
and make up for it?
Nah.
All right. Brandon, what say you? Does just main event Jey Uso take it
This is the belt he's winning next.
from Sammy?
I'm okay with that.
Oh, that's gay. I like that. I like that.
From Sammy or multi? See, I feel like he got to take it in a multi-man match, and that
I
caused a rift
say-
between him and Sammy.
He deserves a title. With merch, the fans, he needs to get out of that tag team talk and all that. And now that they finally split them up, he needs to win the IC belt, I think. I think that, this is my opinion right now for him, especially who it's on Sammy. I think, Uso taking that from him would be awesome for him, for the company. Because I mean, yeah,
It makes sense.
I like Sammy more of a heel. When
I'm
we'll see
sorry, I
how
should have
he
muted.
is, not being a heel with the IC belt, but when he was a heel with the IC belt, you couldn't take that belt off of him.
Yeah, that is true.
So now that he's good, I'm really, really skeptical to see like what happens with the IC belt now. I'm sure Gable, because like I said before, Gable owed him a favor now. When he walked out, he's like, "You owe me one now." So,
Yep.
so that I think Backlash, he'll get his title shot.
Well, no, I think they actually announced Gable for Montreal next week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for next week he gets his title
So
shot.
just tell me that Gable's losing, right? Because there's no way Sammy's losing in Canada.
Yeah, there's no way he's winning.
Or this could be his
so-
heel turn. This could be
That's-
Chad Gable's heel turn.
I think they should have did that during Mania. Was turn them heel.
But why not in front of the
Yeah.
biggest crowd where you would get the biggest boos?
Because I think if you would have did it where, and hear me out here, Gable lost Sammy that Mania match, and when Sammy purposely lost it for him, and when Sammy asked him why, and Gable pretty much sits there and says, "If I can't win in front of my kid, you can't win
You
in front of
can't.
your kid," and you turn
I was
Gable
calling for
heel,
that.
and Sammy beats him in Canada, I think the pop for the redemption there without the title is still there. And you could have had Gunther not have a 666 day, right? But I thought that's what they were gonna go. But like I said, there's no way Sammy's losing in Canada. I don't see it. So turn Chad heel, I'm with it. What does that mean for the rest of Alpha Academy? I don't know. Still with it.
What Michael Cole say? Who cares? He said,
Right.
"What happens to the bloodline?" He said, "Who cares?" Like he was like, "Why would you say that?" But y'all said something very interesting, right? Jay needs to be split away from the tag team scene, right?
Mhm.
But Triple H didn't overbook it. He just said, "We're gonna let this play out. Put the titles on separate rings because before it would have been one red and one blue, right? But nope, we had two red and two blue. And Samantha Urban, probably the greatest ring announcer of all time at this point, she said the match will continue until both sets of belts have been claimed." It was at that moment that you realize, brothers, that we were getting separate tag team belts. We were separating these belts. So
There,
go ahead there, Ray, because
I was gonna say there was a moment after they gave the first ones to A-Town Down that I
Thank
said,
you.
I said, what if they don't separate it? What if they won both sets? And I got real nervous. There was a moment where I sat there and said,
Yep.
"Oh, they trolled us. They're not separating them."
you know
Because-
how I knew they were separating it? Because
How's
they
that?
won them and then they got taken out.
Were they removed from? I didn't even notice that.
Yeah,
Which
he
color
fell
went
off
through
the
that ladder?
No, they didn't.
the
They
ladder.
didn't.
He went through the ladder, remember?
Oh,
Oh yeah, he did. He did go through that.
Austin
Now
yeah.
us
Theory.
three. Grayson Waller went through that ladder.
Grayson Waller did. Yeah,
He
you're right.
laid
You're right.
down there, and then you really didn't see David Priest or Finn really in the match
hmm
most of the time.
Until he yelled at that referee for trying to save his life.
But I'm gonna say this before we move on, right? We got the Alpha Academy, the Creed Brothers, Judgment Day, Viking Raiders, Imperium, Jinder Mahal guys, in this year. The New Day, DIY, and now Awesome Truth on Raw. Then SmackDown, you got the AOP, Street Profits, Angel Garza and his cousin, right? LWO. I'm gonna say LWO again because there's so many of them. You can form like probably 3 different tags. Pretty Deadly, the Good Brothers, New Catch Republic, and A Town Down. What better way to separate the titles when you have established all these teams and a honorable mention of RKO and KO? Because you can always slap them two together because that chemistry they had. Was this the perfect time? Because we're talking about new champs, new belts, new era, right? Is this the perfect time to split them? He has established what the Raw tag team division is and what the SmackDown division is. Was this the right time to split them?
Most definitely. I think right now, tag team wrestling is at its highest peak for every promotion at every show. People love tag team wrestling, and WWE's always kind of slacked off on it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But now, like you said, you named all these people. You got the Creed Brothers, Pretty Deadly, all these tag teams that we have together on separate shows. Like with Triple H behind it, I'm 100% confident the tag team division is going to flourish, and I'm so excited for that because tag team wrestling is the best wrestling to watch on regular TV. I'm not saying like pay-per-view matches, but regular every weekly TV, I can watch tag team wrestling nonstop. So I'm super excited for that. I'm glad they separated the titles finally. It needed to be done, especially with the like you said, the stacked tag division. Everyone can shine now.
Sorry. Well, Brandon, you made a good comment about this. When they won and Logan Paul retained, is this a new faction we about to see? Dun,
Could
dun,
be.
dun. Did you say could be?
Could be, but you had mentioned RKO. I could see them taking the belts off of them too.
Yeah, they do have history.
Yeah, but see, Logan Paul helps him keep it because that's his boys. They keep covering for him, covering for him. But then, last question about these tag belts: was this not a feel good moment for these guys?
It was wonderful.
Beautiful. God,
And then the follow-up to
everybody and
Raw.
their grandma wanted this to happen.
Yes, WWE got this right because it's crazy when he's. I said, "Oh, John Cena and Miz don't they like each other now?" Did y'all see that on Raw?
Mm-hmm.
They've always had a thing too. Them two have always had a history when they do like the little segments where like they're in the back and the Miz is saying something and then True says something stupid and
Yep.
then Miz is like, no, that's not what we're doing. Or in the ring, like he ran into the ring and he's like, I'm ready. He's like, you're not even in the match. Like it always seemed like the Miz always was there to like tell truth, like the real of like what was going on, and for them to have them tag team again, like that's freaking great, genius idea.
So, brothers, we come to this point.
We knew tag
I've been
team
saying it all
belts,
night. We do need new tag. I was going to say that for another time because we
So
do
there it
need new
is.
tag belts. But I'm going to say
Mhm.
this. Yep, I feel it too. I think we're going to get some new tag belts because we had a new belt, new champs, new era. I swear everybody kept saying the same thing. This is all new era WWE. We're the new era. We're the new era. The man to usher us into the new era was none other than the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes.
That belt
Brothers,
looks good on him.
it looked awfully huge coming to the ring on Monday. But let me ask you this, brothers. I'm going to ask y'all all a question. Brother Brandon, Do we get a new belt from Cody?
It's not from JB Toys. But yeah, I said it. I don't care.
Oh,
Um,
oh my gosh.
uh,
In the comments,
if
y'all can
there's
feel
a-
free to answer these
if there's a
questions.
belt that debuts, it'd be the Winged Eagle, but it'd be like that WWE shop one. I think. I don't think he gets a custom belt.
Mhm.
It. He had his cake, but you know what I mean. He's got his flowers. I think he got his Roldy back. I think that's
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
that's it.
That's it. He's done.
But like I said, if he does, he's got his custom side plates. WWE isn't the type they'll do it off sale. He might have a belt like, in like 6 months maybe something might drop.
Mhm.
Where you can buy it on shop, but I don't think TV wise, it's a brand new belt. Why take that off? It's brand new. It's not even 2 months. What is it? 3 months old? 4 months old?
Right.
But I'm gonna tell
Right.
you why. Money.
Yeah, all the
You couldn't
reason
blink
to
without
sell
seeing
it
a
on-
Cody Rhodes something over the weekend. You could
I mean,
not.
all the reason to sell it on WWE shop. I mean, he always
Facts.
wanted the winged eagle. So I mean, that was the one belt that he wanted. I mean, I don't know. Who knows, man? You never know now that we're in this, like you said, this new era. But my only argument to that is the belt's brand new. I mean, so Cody,
His
how long
influence for the
do you
women's
think
title.
Cody's gonna be champion for?
That's a good
Until next
question.
year's
I don't think it's
WrestleMania?
that long.
SummerSlam.
So, Rev, let's ask you a question.
Okay.
We got what we wanted. We got the American Nightmare, right?
That's
From
what we
undesirable
wanted.
to undesirable to undisputed, right? We're probably never going to see another title reign in this era, even close to what Roman was able to do.
Right. Right.
Is SummerSlam the right point for him to drop it and let him chase it against the next Mania? Or do we just see him drop it and just become an afterthought?
I think Cody Rhodes got what he wanted. I think this was, I hate to say it like this, but I think this was just guaranteed in his contract that he was going to get this. So I think they give it to him. They let him take it to SummerSlam, let him lose it to who knows whoever they build a story to. Because in my mind, Cody Rhodes has this effect on people that he's, and I say this all the time, but he's the greatest loser. We feel for Cody Rhodes because he loses, even though he doesn't lose a lot, but he loses the big ones. And that's why we got so far back behind him at last WrestleMania, because he lost, and it was great. But now that he's winning, how quick until we're just like, look how quick we
What
turned
else
on
can
Seth.
you do?
Right. Look how quick we turned on Seth Rollins. Seth was a working champion, and we're like, that's cool. Month later, nah, I'm not with it. And I think that's the problem that Cody's going to have, is there's no heel justifiable enough to go against and take Cody Rhodes right now, which makes it bad.
But with that being said, remember when Seth won, the first heel on the gate was who?
McIntyre.
Nope. Before that, who was the first person that challenged him for the belt?
He beat AJ for it.
Yeah, he beat AJ, but right after that, when he went into Raw, who was his first competitor? Shinsuke.
Yeah.
And in 1 week, Shinsuke felt like the biggest threat to Seth, who had carried the company on his back before Cody got there, right? He felt like a huge threat to him. Triple H can cut it on. We just don't know who he's going to cut it on, right? And I hate to say this. I agree with you in one sense that there's nobody big enough to take it from Cody, but I think we just got to enjoy this ride. And I think we need to focus on what your twin said, right? I think in this new era, this is the way to say we're done with Roman for now, because that belt is the Roman belt, like the Blue Universal title is Roman's belt. you're not going to think about anybody else but that with that blue universal belt, but Roman. If you think about it, because let's be honest, the Fiend, Goldberg, and Braun Strowman, they were the only ones that hold the blue strap, right?
Yeah,
And then Roman.
I believe so. I believe so. Yeah.
That was it. Nobody else had it, and nobody remembered Goldberg because Goldberg was only holding it to give it to Roman. That's really what it was. And Braun held it just to say, "Oh, is Roman ready to come back? He's not. All right,
Well,
give it to the Fiend."
Fiend
Yeah.
changed it to his belt, so
So, see what I'm saying? So, I think that this might be the new era. We might get something. And as the Dennis got to go, he said he got to get to work. Appreciate you, brother. But also, your twin said Cody has to hold the belt for a whole year.
No,
He drops it at Mania. I don't know if we can deal with that heartbreak again. Kids would be dying.
5-2. 5-2.
I think whoever wins Money in the Bank, and spoiler, I think it's Drew McIntyre takes it out on Cody.
But see, he said it. We got some people that were supposed to appear this weekend and didn't. And then I don't know if y'all saw what Thomas said. He said he was waiting for the call. Like he's free. We could be seeing another. I hate when you do something 2.0, like NXT 2.0. Clearly that didn't work. Please don't do a Bloodline 2.0. Let's just do something.
No.
Dennis said Cody books him like his dad. You didn't assemble the WWE Avengers and drop the belt in 6 months. Good point. Good point. We might have to do a whole show just on that. I had to do a short so everybody understand why they said the Avengers. I'm sorry. Prototype corrected me. It was Finn and then Shinsuke. I just remember Shinsuke being a bigger heel than Finn because Finn had some grit, but we knew that history with Finn. But Seth destroyed Finn when he made that comment about, don't worry, my title reign is always.
There's a history with Finn and Seth.
Yeah, I said they had history. That's why that was the first one. But he destroyed him when he said, yeah, my title reign is always longer than yours. Ha ha ha. And walked off in the ring. I was like, oh, that's so messed up.
And I wouldn't mind a Finn going after Cody real quick, doing the we used to be Bullet Club kind of stuff. But even then, it's like Finn's not getting the championship. Like, there's nobody that you're putting in that ring with Cody Rhodes that I'm going, yeah, they're going to give that guy over Cody Rhodes. There's nobody.
Not even Sheamus?
Not a Sheamus. I missed the video package, by the way. I don't know if it was great or not, but I hope it was because that man deserves all the flowers.
Sheamus need to be in that category like Randy. Just find that spot and be that marquee match. He ain't got to be on every PLE. He can close out a show. He could be on the house show. Because I honestly, if Ilyanov didn't take it from Gunther, I thought Sheamus should have been the one to take it from him. But
you just said the name. That's who I think needs to be Cody.
Ilyanov?
Dragunov?
No, it needs to be Gunther. I think we keep him off TV just for a little bit. Cody beats 2 or 3 guys, and then you hear that Imperium music hit. And it's just like Gunther has a presence where I know I said there's nobody in the ring, but Gunther has a presence where I look at him, he could be anybody.
But then that means Ilyanov has to be Gunther for the world title.
Eventually. You throw that at Mania, and I'm with it. I'll buy tickets. I don't care what city they're in.
He's just going to go for that match. See, he gets it. And you see Dennis, I thought he said he'd get to work. He said heel Randy. I don't think Randy's ready to be a heel. He's having too much fun right now.
Randy needs to calm down.
Randy is having the time of his life. I don't think he's going to do it because, like I said, everybody, we are in new belts, new champs, and in a new era. And WrestleMania kicked this off for us, didn't they? I don't think we need a heel Randy right now because I think Randy will keep selling them tickets. Randy will keep being that guy for them. I think Randy is in the perfect spot that he should be in. But last thing I want to end on because we went in the overtime tonight. Nip Ram, favorite moment that's related to a belt over this weekend. What is it?
Favorite moment related to a belt this weekend?
Yes, because we're on championship culture.
It's Damian Priest holding the title up. Like I said, for Puerto Ricans, that meant everything. That meant everything for us. Like, like on Twitter and everything, like our flags were waving high. Like it felt so good to have that. And like I said, it doesn't matter how long he keeps it at this point, but it's in the history book. They can't take that from us. So for me, Damian Priest holding that title up was everything I needed.
And see, that's why I said when Rey Mysterio was the one day WWE champion, I said don't matter, he was WWE champion.
Mm-hmm.
Like to me, it was just like he was WWE champion. Like if I know Bobby had it twice, but if he would have only held it for one night, I was like he was champion for one night, no matter. You know what I mean? I'm okay with those one day or those short reigns because in the history books will always show. So as we do in tradition with championship culture, give us your top five. I need your top five titles. No particular order, no particular company, just top five. I need to pick 5 belts. What are they?
Oh, off the gate, the X Division title. I love that title. Like the
Which
original
version?
TNA, the original TNA X Division title. First drop.
NWA TNA?
Yes.
NWA TNA. Okay.
Yeah, like the first drop of it. Love that title. I'm a big fan of the North American title. I think that title is absolutely gorgeous. I'm a big fan of. I like a lot of New Japan. Oh, the AEW World Championship, gorgeous title. Let me think. Off the top of my head, the IWGP. I get all the letters wrong. World Heavyweight Championship is gorgeous.
Which version?
I'm trying to think. The last time I took a hard look at it is when Omega had it.
So that's version 4.
Yeah, I'm gonna say
that's version 4.
Back, but that belt's gorgeous. Honestly, none of them are ugly, so I'm not gonna. Japan doesn't let me down. When it comes to titles, Japan never lets me down.
You're right.
And a lot of people didn't like it, but the purple 205, I enjoyed it. I thought it stood out. I thought it was bright. I thought it was different. But I enjoyed the heck out of that title.
The cruiserweight?
Yeah, the 205 NXT cruiserweight title, the purple strap.
So I
thought that belt was lovely.
NWA TNA X Division title, AEW World title, IWGP version 4, North American title, and then the WWE Cruiserweight, the 205 version.
The purple strap.
Not a bad collection. You're the first person not to say the World Heavyweight Championship. You do realize that, right?
The big gold. That's not.
You are the
big gold.
I think
you are the.
I think AEW's title looks way better than the big gold.
Ooh.
AEW's title is gorgeous.
Well, I'll tell you what you do, sir. On April 30th, if you're free, come on to Championship Culture. We're going to have a show called Big Gold versus the World. So we can hear your opinion. But before that, I want to remind the people that those Championship Culture boys has a big gold giveaway. And since you hate it so much or don't like it, you think something else is better, all you got to do is submit a video telling us everybody has a story for up to 2 minutes. And all we need to hear is about you picking one of the belts from your collection and telling us the story behind why you have that belt. That'll give you one entry. Another way to enter, subscribe to our YouTube channel at The Wrestling Realm. I'm sorry, youtube.com/The Wrestling Realm. And then the third way to get an entry is to follow us on Championship Culture _ on Instagram. That gives you 3 entries. We're going to do the drawing live on April 30th for Big Gold versus the World. After we have our experts talk about this belt, because that belt has transcended time, transcended country. I can't even talk. Transcended through companies, and sometimes has beelines that go through multiple eras. So be part of that conversation. April 30th, Big Gold versus the World. So
don't get me wrong, it's one of the most important belts in wrestling. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, looks wise, it wasn't my top 5. That's all I'm saying.
And I think you're the very first one not to have it in there. But
there's something about any belt that Batista held that I just look at and I'm just like, oh, I don't know.
Nah, I'm good.
So with that being said, tell the people where they can find you, brother.
Hold on.
Uh-oh.
I like this right here. I'm loving that one. Shout out to 4 sides of the ring.
That did happen. Yeah. Where's that at?
Yeah, this right here. Oh, yeah.
Oh, you want to be starting something? Got to be starting something.
This big, sexy thing right here. You see that?
Yeah, I thought he would have said that was his best thing for over the weekend, but
I got
you
left
know,
that down.
Damian Priest is more important. So,
Mm-hmm.
but ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen, what Has the Third is showing off is that beautiful, beautiful 4 sides of the
Mm-hmm.
ring 3 count trivia championship that those championship culture boys won. Um, you
That's
know,
us.
the inaugural, as in the first ever, will be etched in history as being the first
Yep.
ever.
And they can never take that from y'all.
Nope.
Nope.
And I don't know how. I know how long we're gonna be champion. You wanna know how long we're gonna be the champions?
To SummerSlam. Um,
Until we
Well,
let
he's
somebody
funny.
take it. Because you know why? Tell them why here.
Because every belt has a story.
Everybody has a
chance.
story. All right, so
Oh, my
let's
bad. I'm sorry.
hold on. Let's address this real quick. Prototype said, honestly, my favorite belt moment of the weekend is me and my little brother having our belts with him experience the first WrestleMania. Saying Cody winning would be easy. Well, that's perfect because you got to experience it with him, and y'all had some belts. First off, y'all are troopers to be in the cold with the belt because I know that was a
Yep.
hard task. So shout out to you, brother. And it was so much fun to see you and meet you. And he was like, "Oh, championship culture man himself," and I was like, and then you told me who you were. So appreciate that, brother. Of course, Dennis would have the NWA. He means a 10 pounds of gold, big gold, wing
Yep.
eagle. AEW belt has grown on me, and the big gold is the beast, is what he says. But I keep calling him your twin brother. I think he needs to see it again. He said, "Now that's a belt." Show
Oh,
him
you
again.
need to
Oh,
see it again?
yeah, he needs to see
One
it
more
again.
again? Okay.
One more time for the people in the back.
Bang.
That dual
There
plated
it is.
24 karat gold. It's going to look
Ooh.
good on display, ain't it?
blue leather.
Blue and orange straps. We're going to do a
My bad.
short
I
talk.
got my fingerprints on it right now. But
You
What's the
better
backing on
shine.
that one? What's the backing on that one?
Ooh, what color is the
that's
back?
that gray backing. That's that gray.
Ooh. Ooh.
Different little charcoal gray. Okay.
Ooh. And look, Dennis said, "That's nice." I read that in that voice. He said, "That's nice." So, ladies
Yeah.
and gentlemen, if you get a chance, please, if you're not watching this on X or on Facebook Live or YouTube, please go back and check out the Wrestling Realm on youtube.com/the Wrestling Realm under the playlist Championship Culture, where you can see the exclusive. And we have a video of us giving it, but we ain't ready to reveal that yet. Don't you worry. It's coming. And we also have an exclusive of somebody going off at Wrestlemania. I should have sent it to your brother first, so that way he can blackmail you. Did you say, "Oh, Marcus, I'm gonna be sending you something in a few minutes, brother. You'll enjoy this." Figured out who his favorite wrestler was because he was going off. You didn't know you was being recorded, did you?
Probably not. I was going in a Wale though.
No, you
they
drunk
were
too many of
playing
them energy
hits.
drinks. You had a
That's
lot of
what
them
it
Yeah,
energy
is.
drinks.
I was loving
That
it.
man
And
was bouncing off the wall.
they were playing all the songs I knew because of monotune. I was going in.
No, what was that? What flavor? You drunk all the flavors. So at Wale Mania, they were giving away the Rocks energy drink, and every time you looked at Nit Ram, he had a different one in his hand. He must have had about 10 of them, no exaggeration,
I
in
keep
like an
tweeting
hour
them for a
span.
sponsor.
Yeah.
I said I keep tweeting them for a sponsor. I was like, "Yo, we'll sponsor on the podcast for 2 cases."
Okay, so if you want to see a 2-minute video, Dennis King, send it to Championship Culture 2023 at gmail.com. Championship Culture 2023 at gmail.com. 2 minutes or less talking about something. Everybody has a story. And tell us that
Yep.
story. If you've ever watched any episode of Championship Culture, I usually do a segment. There are some shorts that, everybody has a story. And then I give you an explanation as to why I have those belts. I didn't count them. I got rid of a lot. Y'all should be proud of me. I got rid of some belts. I can see my floor a little bit. He will vouch for it. I did
Yeah,
get rid
that's
of
true.
some belts. I'm probably closer back to my 140 mark than what I wanted to be than I am now. So understand. He said, wait a minute. He said, can I borrow the 3-count trivia championship so I can do my video?
Hey, that's crazy.
Well, I wasn't expecting that.
I wasn't.
See, this is why these guys are enjoyable. So we appreciate it. He said, I got one. He said, oh, sorry. Oh, being out in that cold all weekend. But I think
Yep.
have we done it? I don't know if the comments want to talk about anything else because I think we've talked about the focus of the day with these new belts, new champs, and a new era. And I'm pretty sure this is only part one. If you're free tomorrow night, about 10:30-ish, tune into the flagship show, the Wrestler I'm Now podcast, where the return of Hollywood Brian Waters, Hollywood Brian H. Waters, the realness, Dwayne Allen. Ass, H to the A to the S to the T to the H to the E to the 3 to the R to the D, third, and Brandon the Guy will most likely dive into this extra large WrestleMania, the showcase of those guys. I can't even say immortals because they were cooking from start to finish. It was some lows, but it was more highs than lows. Nitram,
Yes.
tell the people where they can find you. Tell them who you are and where they can find you.
Well, once again, I'm Nitram, the one that makes them say, "Oh damn!" And you can find me on Four Sides of the Ring. Yeah, I got a catchphrase now.
I like
Four
it.
Sides of the Ring. We drop a new episode every Friday. I'm also the host for 3 Count Trivia. You can find us on Twitter because that's all channel cares about at 4 Sides OTR. You can find me on Twitter at Nitram_4 Sides OTR. And yeah, check us out. If you love trivia, we got that. You love wrestling, we got that. And we have friends. So we all good.
If we get
That's all
all
you
of
need.
y'all on one show on a Tuesday,
Oh my!
I'm
God.
pretty sure we're going to
That
look
is
like the
crazy.
Power Rangers forming an Ultra Megazord.
Gonna be a lot of arguing.
Right.
It's going to be
Absolutely.
hilarious. So trust me, we're going to see Marcus. We're going to make it happen, brother. You and all the 4 sides of the ring on a championship culture show. I'm sorry. Might need to get the realness in on that one too, because definitely he needs to be part of these
He's gonna
shenanigans.
talk.
We can't take these
Mhm.
shenanigans on our own. But ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. I'm getting choked up. I don't know why. Probably because so many belts.
Everybody has a story.
And all of them has a story.
Yep.
Here, you want to tell them where they can find us?
No.
Because I'm choking.
Yes, I
As you
will.
can see, I'm
Boom.
dying.
That's where you can find us
Fo-
right there. Championship
Follow us.
Culture _ on IG and on YouTube, the Wrestling Realm. And we have our own playlist, Championship Culture. That's where you can find us. Be sure to also follow us on every social media platform at Wrestling Realm. There you go, right there. We're on the screen. Check us out, support us, and give us your feedback on what's going on in the world of wrestling. There you have it.
But you know what we didn't talk about?
What's that?
How many eyes was on that championship culture belt?
Ooh, that Championship Culture one?
We'll talk about that tomorrow because we told them where we can
Mhm.
find this. You know the last thing we got to say? Nip Round, do you know the last thing we saw at every show?
What's that?
Oh, hold on. Let me make sure you can see my face when I say it. Every belt has a story, and I can't wait to hear yours.
You got
We're
whisper.
out.
Go ahead, whisper. Whisper.
Championship culture after Mania was lit. Good night, fellas. Awesome show. Always have a good night. Now they don't want to make us they don't want us to sign off. Look what they're doing. They're talking about us. They're pumping us up. We were trying to sign off. You don't have to say it again or you won't cut me off.
Guess what?
That
Bye.